back. We're so freaking back, you guys. Oh my gosh. If you remember this song, you've been here a minute, girly. I love you. I wanna be fearless. I am so excited to be back for a yap session, you guys. I am so freaking excited. We gotta pop a little cheersy bevy. Woo! She's stunning. Oh, I got a little bit of that on my chinny chin. So, if you're new here, welcome. Why did I put that out of frame? Let's keep the Pepsi in frame. First sponsor, cheers. The Pepsi Zero Sugar Wild Cherry and Cream. She tastes like nostalgia. Delicioso. You guys, I'm back on my podcast grind. And I call this a podcast ever so loosely because it's going to stick exclusively on YouTube as a visual, but I want you to be able to just put this on in the background while you're folding laundry, doing dishes, doing whatever, because that's how I personally like to enjoy podcasts or, talk shows. I'm a big fan and I listen quite a bit. So this is the first episode of Just Between Us. I thought that'd be a fun little name for this series, show, yap sesh. I'm going to start this one off and just say, I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing. If you like it, if you guys let me know that you like it, I'll show up because your girl can yap. If you don't know who I am, I'm a vlogger. I've been doing YouTube vlogs since 2011. I'm getting old and honestly, I love it. I love YouTube. I can see myself doing this for a really, really long time in my life. I've made a ton of mistakes that are online. I've shared my trials and tribulations. I have showed so much dropping out of college, going through relationships, dating. So if you want to just catch up on my life, go ahead and go for it. But I hope that we can be friends, internet besties, and I hope we can have a good future of yap sessions together. I thought about calling this just yap sesh, but the reason that I wanted to call this Just Between Us is because I want this to be interactive with you guys. I want to hear from you. So I'd already teased this over on my Instagram a few weeks ago, actually. If you don't know, I have an almost 1-year-old now, and he is the priority. So it's just me getting around to being able to do this, but I'm so excited. I would love for this to be a weekly thing. But I asked you guys on Instagram to send me over a variety of chitty chatty chats. And we're going to do 3 topics, potentially more in the future. But I had you guys send in voice notes with either, am I the asshole? BTW. I do not swear in my vlogs. I bleep them or remove them. But I love to curse. I'm a cursy little girl. Truly, though, I have the mouth of a friggin' sailor. So we're going to be swearing on here. So little warning for any people listening with kids, etc. So am I the asshole? You can also send in your questions that you need advice for. And then last but not least, confessions just between us. These can be anonymous. When you send in your voice note, if you want to say your name, you certainly can. But you don't have to. These can be anonymous. So if you want to send yours in to hopefully be featured on the show, send them to justbetweenusshow@yahoo.com. I'll put a link in the description. And also, try to keep it under a couple minutes, please, if possible. I understand there needs to be details, but, got to keep it moving, girl. Okay. So also, I want to just, like I said, yap. I want to talk about subjects, things in my life. I have, a lot of segments that I want to start doing. I thought it'd be really fun to do, what the youths are saying. It's funny because I still feel, how old do I feel? Mid-20s. I feel kind of stuck in mid-20s energy. I'm 32, but I'll see TikToks where people are talking to teenagers, young teens, and all these fancy lingos that they have for youthing is just bizarre. The most recent one I heard is called aura farming. Yeah. I want you to take a second and think about what aura farming could possibly be. So I'm going to give you the definition when I type in what is aura farming. Let me Google it. Stand by. little music till I get this pulled up here. I thought it'd be nice to have some fun little chill music if I need a second to pull something up. Oh, okay. Let's see. Aura is basically a term for someone doing something really badass. Coming from a Gen Zer, it's kind of an unnecessary phrase. We already have words for aura, like cool and badass. Aura farming refers to characters who constantly have aura moments. This doesn't seem like the right answer, if I'm honest. What is that thing? Urban Dictionary. Okay, that comes up, Urban Dictionary. Aura farming means doing random acts for the sake of gaining aura. Well, what is aura? Isn't that like your status? Gaining aura. What is aura? Charisma, coolness, social presence. Oh my God. Aura farming? Why does that just feel insanely difficult? Is this what it is to get old? Aura farming. I don't know why I said that to my husband last night. And I asked him what it meant, and he just was so confused. I would love to have him on for some segments where we just like try to test his knowledge of these cool terms that the kids are saying anyway. I thought we had some wacky ones when we were young, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. So I have a few of these pulled from ones that you sent in before the show even started, and I am dying to get into them and see what the goss is. So I have one here that I want to pull in first and foremost. So let's go ahead and listen in from our first caller.
Hi there, Miss Alex. I'm so excited you've decided to do a podcast. So I'm 34 years old. I recently got married within the last year, September, and I'm having some trouble. My husband and my mother cannot stand each other. I'm very close with both of them, and I know that this is a very common issue, right? There's cliches about it, the monster-in-law thing, it's...
My God, I'm sorry I had to pause it because I friggin' love the movie Monster-in-Law, and also this is making me sad, but I'm excited to hear more, and I already have thoughts.
It's just a thing. It's a very common issue. And I know that there's nothing I can do to fix their relationship because that's not my job. And they have to be the ones that want to find some common ground. What I'm curious about is how, as this middle person for them, how do I set healthy boundaries to protect myself, my heart, from getting hurt and from being stressed out over things that I can't control, right? It goes beyond just let them, because I have read the book with your recommendation. And I guess I'm just wondering, what are some very practical, healthy boundaries that I can set with both of them to keep from being put in the middle of their conflicts? So if you have any and all advice, that would be most welcome. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited that you're doing a podcast, and I can't wait to listen in. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for sharing this. I know this is a massive issue with so many people. I mean, literally, that's why they have the movie Monster-in-Law. That's tough. That's really, really tough. Okay. So I'm going to keep it so real. I have never talked about this online before. It was not the peachiest journey between my husband Yar and my mother. I know, it's quite shocking. So I think what happened was really my mom and I have always been insanely close, just the two of us. And I think in past relationships, they weren't necessarily the most healthy. So I still relied on her a lot as a main person for my emotional support, my needs. And then all of a sudden, cue Yarman and cue this healthy relationship. And it's just she's like, girl, what? You don't need me as much? This is very upsetting. And props to my mother, who figured that out in therapy and was like, okay, she put it together that she felt like she was losing me when Yar came along and we had healthy boundaries and the two of us were very strong together. And my mom felt, a little bit left behind. And that is completely understandable. Even though she wasn't, she was super included in, our life, of course, still. So they did not always, it's not like they didn't get along, but there was definitely like, my mom. My mom she's fearless. You see this tattoo? She's fearless. It's over here somewhere. Okay. Also, arms out, girl. Let the wings flap this summer. Don't be afraid to show your arms. So there was definitely there were some awkward moments with me and my mom and Yar, where you could just feel the tension. And thank God we have worked through that. And there have been conversations and uncomfortable conversations, and now we're in a really good place. So with the whole book, Let Them, I totally get what you mean, where you can't just always just like, okay, let them and let me suffer. Like, okay. But the meaning of Let Them goes so much further to that. What I loved about the book, the Mel Robbins book, Let Them, it's let them and then let me. So, because at first when you hear let them, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of controversial theories about the whole let them theory. I personally like it a lot as someone who, as an internet personality, I feel a lot of the time like out of control of certain parts of my life. And I just have to like, oh, let me control what I can. You know what I mean? And that goes with a lot of parts of life. Let them, let me. So let them have their issues. Let me create safe boundaries for myself where I feel comfortable and protected and happy and safe and comfortable in my environment. So there's a few routes you can take here. You can do that where you kind of, keep them separate. And that's not the most fun feeling. You want your spouse and your mom to get along. I get that 100%. Unfortunately, the only way to get through those really hard awkward relationships is through really awkward, hard conversations. Like, I had to have some really tough talks. You can do them together, and like, you got to just be straight up. Like, if you want this to heal long term, like, okay, I wish I could ask you questions. Maybe we should make these calls. I don't know. Let me know. I would love to ask, like, who's the one causing the tension here? Is it more mom? Is it more husband? Is it kind of just mutual? Because whoever's causing the issue here needs to be talked to, because they need to know that you guys want to be a united triangle of love, a family triangle of love. And that, I know it's easier said than done, but like, you got to just be straight up. Literally, I was like to my mom, like, what's the beef? What is the beef with Yarman? Like, why are you weird? What is this? And, it didn't happen immediately. It takes time for people to process things, but she's like, I feel left behind. There's got to be a deeper reason why this relationship, is not, working out. Like, who's stepping on toes? Who needs to be chatted to? And it's not like these conversations that are super awkward and tense are going to be, you don't have to be mean about it, but you got to be honest. And unfortunately, if someone doesn't want to understand you, listen to you, hear your needs, hear your boundaries, there is nothing else you can do. Like, I'm saying worst case scenario, if you cannot get through to who you need to get through to, like, distance is okay. It is completely okay, especially with the two of them. But I do think there's always room, because I'm telling you, trust me, oh my God, one night in the very beginning, my mom had only met Yar a few times. We had gone to this we were going out to dinner and to this comedy show. And I don't know. I don't remember what had happened specifically, but my mom and I had gotten into something about it. We were in the bathroom and she just gave me some comment about like something snarky. When my mom is like pissy, like she'll just make these comments that are just like, I'm like, you're trying me. And for a very long time, pre-therapy, I didn't know how to handle it. And it took a lot. I actually read the book called Boundaries, and because not just with my mom, with anyone. It's hard to know sometimes how to be like, I will not tolerate this. I will move along. Hit me up when you're ready to talk. Hit me up, because I can't just be here being stomped on because you're upset about something that brings me joy. So, alas, conversations. You got to have a conversation. And if it will help to have a third party there, I always recommend that. Have another person there, a safe, neutral little space. Have someone to talk to about it. I wish I could ask, like, if you have siblings, like, can we get someone in on this to, like, help mama out? Like, what's the vibe? So, thank you for sharing. I hope that's helpful in any sort of way. It's hard though. Trust me, I've been there and it is difficult. Literally, like I said, in past relationships, it's not like my mother acted as my relationship partner, but like she was my main person for emotional support. And moms, like, now that I'm a mom, I'm like, damn, like I love my son so much. Like, I can only imagine how she would have felt. And like, if you can try to put yourself in those shoes, it will help you see their side a little bit more, and hopefully they can get their shit together. Because you don't need that stress. You don't need that stress at all. Oh my gosh. The next one here is about a stolen baby name, and I am so curious to hear about this one. So let's dive in here about this stolen baby name.
Hey Alex, I'm so excited. I'm hoping to get your honest opinion on this, especially because you're a mom as well and you just went through the whole name game. But let's start with my sister. She loved the name Rose, okay? And ever since we were young, that was like her favorite name. She actually had us calling her Rose for a little while. And so fast forward to last August, I was pregnant, and I found out like at week 3, I took a test early and I found out I was pregnant, and we told my other kids, which is 6 and 3. My 3-year-old she didn't understand too well, but then she was 5 years old, but so she's 6 now, but she had been calling the baby Rose. She was like, well, if it's a girl, her name's gonna be Rose, and if it's a boy, it's gonna be Carl. And so we were interchangeably using those names until we found out it was a girl. And so the name Rose for my baby had like started from the beginning, right? And we told family, when they were asking, what was her name, we're like, well, some way, shape, or form, we're going to use the name Rose, like either Rosalie or something, and Rose as a middle name. And we're just like, some way, shape, or form, Rose was going to be in there. So my sister like would make comments throughout my pregnancy, and nothing, she was kind of rude about it, but I just thought she was plain, and she never was direct with it, like I really can't remember what comments she was making because they were so nonchalant, but fast forward to me actually having my daughter, and we used Rose as her middle name. So she has her first name, and then she has Rose, and then our last name. So I posted it on Facebook, and I call her, everything's all well and done. I'm sitting there in the hospital bed, and I call her so she can see my daughter, and she doesn't answer my phone call. And then for about 6-7 days straight, I was calling her, and she was not answering, not even just like cutting me off. She just wouldn't answer. Like, she wouldn't like see it and then end it, or end it short. She just wouldn't answer me, like if I wasn't even calling at all. And I even mentioned it to my mom, like, hey, my sister isn't answering my phone calls. And she's like, well, she's probably busy. I'm like, usually she'll answer and then be like, hey, is everything okay? And then she just won't, she'll be like, okay, well, I have to work. And then she'll let me go if, there wasn't an emergency, but I just had a baby. So she definitely would be answering. I finally get her to answer, and she's kind of talking here and there, and then I was like, hey, like, do you want to see your niece? And she goes, oh, like, I wanted to talk to you about that. and just started going off on me and basically saying that like she can't believe I used that name. That was her name. And I told her, I was like, my husband picked our daughter's name. She's like, that's why I don't like your husband. And then she ends up making comments directing my daughter, my oldest daughter, because I was like, well, you know, my daughter picked her name as well. And she goes, well, that's why I half disowned her a while back, because she, you know, and that was my name. And mind you, me and my two older daughters are in the car, 6 and 3. 3-year-old doesn't really understand, but my 6-year-old is like trying to calm her down because she is like freaking out over the phone. She even like,
What? Your 6-year-old is trying to calm her down? Oh my God, I have so many thoughts. We still have some more info to come, but I'm like, oh my God, like no.
tries her best to be like, well, the name Daisy's pretty. You can use the name Daisy. And I'm like, baby, like it's okay, you know, don't worry. And I even told her, I was like, I'm very disappointed in you. I'm gonna let you go. And then she just starts like trying to tell me off, and I just hang up the phone. And that was 3 months ago, and she's still yet to call me or text me or anything, or apologize. Wow. And so I just want to get your opinion on if I'm the asshole for using the name. Mind you, and here's the kicker, okay?
There's a kicker.
She doesn't want any more kids.
Okay.
So.
Okay, she doesn't want any more kids and she's mad that you used the name Rose? Wait a damn minute.
Nor is she pregnant. She's not pregnant, doesn't want any more kids, doesn't have anybody to be. She's separating from her husband. She doesn't want any more kids. And she had the nerve to tell me and disown her niece and to tell off my husband and to tell me off for using a name that she is not going to be using. So I want to get your opinion on that. Am I the asshole for using the name that she will not be using, that meant something to our family because it's my daughter picked her name, you know, and we've been calling her that since we found out I was pregnant at 3 weeks. That is her name. And it wasn't out of spite. It wasn't out of being malice and just being like rude towards my sister's opinions on that name, that is her name, whether she has kids or not, or whether she wants any more kids or not. That is her name. Or should she just be mature enough to like understand the circumstances, to see everything involved in the fact that my daughter picked that name and that it's just, she's not even going to use it, and it means more to us than it did to her, in my opinion. And maybe that's just me, but like, my daughter picked her name and she's not going to use it. So why is she going all out, being so disrespectful, avoiding seeing her niece, who is 3 months, mind you? It's just, I'm so disgusted and upset. But am I the asshole?
Oh my God. Absolutely brutal. That was like an absolute journey. That just took me on an absolute journey. And of course, you guys must comment down below your thoughts about everything when we go through these. This is a pretty solid first one of Am I the Asshole? Because I have thoughts. So I wanted to pause it a few times throughout, but I also wanted to keep waiting to see, and I'm glad I waited. So listen, I'm going to keep it so real with you. At first, and these are all just my opinions, everyone, my first thought was like, it sounds like your sister has... It's kind of like a girl code thing, in my humble opinion, that when you tell people you're close to your baby name, like, you know, like you're kind of locking it in. You're like, look, like, this is my name. Please don't take it. Like, I am clocking this from the beginning. That's one, this little clock thing that people do. This is what the kids do, you guys told me. They're clocking it. And I saw this on Love Island. They're clocking it. So at first, when you said that, I get that your daughter said it. I get that. I get it. And I think that is like so cute. But also at first I was like, well, as her mom, like, and you know, auntie's been calling that name forever. Like, oh, Rose is so pretty, but like, what else do you think? Like, your aunt really wants to use that name. That was my first thought and what I would have done. But then you took me on a wild goose chase later to find out your sister is not having any more kids. And she's upset that you used the name. Or in the beginning as well, my thought was also you could be like, hey, sis, my daughter I'm pregnant. Yay. Oh, let me use, yay, I'm pregnant. But also, can I use the name Rose? Yes, I have a soundboard here and I'm determined to use it. But that was my first thought. I'm like, okay, we can have a convo. We can be like, hey girl, I'm pregnant. Hip hip hooray. I know that you have wanted to use the name Rose forever. And trust me, I wasn't expecting this, but my daughter was like immediately wanted to call the baby Rose. Could we meet in the middle? Like, would you mind if I used it as like a middle name? And then, if you have another kid, you can take it as the first and it'll be cute, like, because they're cousins. It'll be adorable. That was my first thought. I was like, okay, we can make this work. We can make it work. But then your sister went ahead and just had a whole mentee bee about this. Like, first of all, we are disowning a 6-year-old for this. And we are not seeing our new 3-month-old niece for this. Listen, you guys, family matters. It matters so much. And granted, if you have like an abusive or really toxic, unhealthy family, like cut it off. But if you can preserve a family, some of my family has gone through some, I don't know what my dog is doing. My dog is just standing under this desk looking out like he's about to protect me from something. Okay. All right, buddy. I don't know what he's doing. I've had some family drama over the last few years where some of my family doesn't talk anymore, and I hate it. It breaks my heart. I even tried to fix it. Didn't go well. I went in with a full heart trying to fix this situation with multiple family members, tried to mediate. No, did not work, but I tried. So in my head, I'm like, with family stuff, I just feel like you should try to fix things when you can. But I have a full understanding that you're upset with your sister. Like, I just think this is a complete and utter overreaction. And I could justify it so much more if she was going to have more kids. But my question to you is, like, are you sure she's not going to have more kids? Because, you said she's getting separated, doesn't have anyone to have a kid with. But, like, was she thinking down the road of maybe, like, getting a donor? Was she thinking of having another one down the road? But at this point, too, I'm thinking of, like, the most hot-headed people in my life that overreact. It's been months now, and she still hasn't met her new niece. And I mean, I'm sorry, like, I don't think any hothead I know would get to the point of saying they're disowning their 6-year-old niece because they picked the name Rose. You think this 6-year-old went ahead and was like, you, auntie, you have this name and I'm plotting to ruin your life. Like, okay, ma'am, let's take a seat. Let's sit down. It's all right. We can work through this. I don't know. You guys got to comment about this. I don't think you're the asshole at all. In the beginning, I was like, you're not an asshole, but like there's a sprinkle of issue here. A sprinkle. But then by the end, I'm like, no, you're not the asshole at all. This to me feels like a very strong overreaction. And I really hope you can fix it. But I also kind of feel like it's not really on you to fix right now because you didn't really do anything wrong. And honestly, now that I have a son, I just like want to protect him with everything that I have. And if he had to hear someone on the phone, like, especially a family member, like say to him, like, that's why I disowned you. I would probably want to protect him from that as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of layers here. It depends like what you think is a healthy relationship, if you can ever have one with her again. Like I said, I think family is really important. I hope there can be healing and conversations and maybe some group therapy. But you're not the asshole, my dear. You are absolutely not. And congrats on your new bundle of joy. I think that is beautiful. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry going through that. That's rough. Now, we're going to go in with our last one here. So we've got a question of advice that you need advice on. So let's go ahead and tune in. I don't think I've listened to this yet.
Hi, Alex. First of all, I love you.
I love you more.
Been a long time viewer now. I need some advice. So a little background. I was laid off from my job about 2 years ago, and I moved back home to my parents' house. And
Oh, wait, I was going to put the boo sound when she said that. Guys, this is the first step. Give me grace here.
so a little background. I was laid off from my job about 2 years ago.
Boo!
And I moved back home to my parents' house. And luckily, recently, within the last couple of months, since May, I started working again. I have a solid form of income, which I'm so grateful for. And I've been able to live in my parents' house rent-free, which I'm so blessed. But within that time, I met my boyfriend, and everything is going wonderful. We've been dating for a little over 6 months now. We've known each other for more than 10 years, and really once we started dating, we hit the ground running. Like, we've known each other for so long that we're already having conversations about moving in with each other, what our long-term future looks like. And I'm kind of coming to the predicament where I've always wanted to live on my own before I settle down and start a family and move in with a man. And everything in my area, the prices of stuff are going up so much these days, and what was once an affordable place to live has just becoming less and less, like, so not obtainable within my means of living. So I'm really weighing out the pros and cons of, do I continue to seek out moving into an apartment on my own, or do I move in with him and save money? And we've even talked about that, how he would cover a lot of the cost, and I would be able to save so much money. But also, like, I can't live with my parents anymore. Like, I'm losing my mind over here. Yeah, the rent is free, but like, I'm paying with my mental health. And so I'm just really weighing out the options and would love some advice, especially from someone who is married, who has done the dating game. Open to all forms of advice and encouragement. So thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you so much for sending that in. Congrats on finding love, especially with someone that you've known for so long. That is amazing. It's funny because I'm just going to talk to you like I'm talking to a friend. I don't think there is anything wrong with moving in with this person. Rent is insane. My first thought too, though, was like, yes, living by yourself is wonderful. And I get that you wanted to do that on your own before living with, a partner. But it sounds like your mental health is suffering being at your parents'. Shout out to them for the free rent. We love them for that. We appreciate them for that. But with rent being so rough, I don't think there's any harm in moving in with this guy because you've known him for so long. If he was a little bit more new, like, granted, you've only been dating 6 months, since you've known him so long, I think you have a pretty good judge on his character. And also, with him covering more of the costs, I would just be a little bit cautious. I think that's amazing and appreciate. So you can save up. Let's say things do eventually, like, if things don't work out, not eventually, things are going to work out. I'm manifesting that for you. But if things were to not work out, you'd be able to have a nice little egg saved in this experience. And then potentially, you'd be able to move out on your own. But that's not going to happen. It's going to work out. I believe that in my heart and soul. But it just doesn't sound like moving out alone is possible right now. One option you have is to move out with a friend. So you can still have that separate experience from him, but still, quote unquote, living on your own. Or a roommate. Friend or roommate, someone safe, hopefully someone just to make it a little bit more comfy. But you know what I mean? So you have a couple options. I do think that's probably like the healthiest, just for your own like mental state, because there is something about living, alone before you live with your guy. And it's kind of fun to like date still and go to each other's apartments, rather than going to like your parents' house, having your own space. So if you're able to do roommate, that would be a wonderful middle ground where you feel like you're living alone, but you're getting some help with rent. And then also, I don't think there's any harm in moving in with this guy as well, since you seem to have a good foundation. You've known each other a long time. That is the key. If he was, like I said, if he was new, I'd be like, let's be a little bit cautious here. But you've known him a long time. And ultimately, at the end of the day, only you know what's best for you. I met Yarman and we were engaged a year later, married the next year. And he moved in, when did he move in? We were together under a year. And it's just like, when you know, as long as you're not getting love bombed, you know. I think that is just fine. But protect your peace and do at the end of the day what you know is going to bring you comfort. But I'm rooting for you guys. I'm glad that you found someone so wonderful that it sounds like it's a really good foundation for you. So let me know what you decide to do. I'm super curious, but if you're looking for my advice, I do think it's okay to move in with him. And I think you might want someone to give you that validation, like it's okay to move in with him, because you probably are like, is it okay? Because I want to live alone. Like, you're trying to justify it with the rent prices, because like you can do a roommate, but maybe you hate roommates. I've never lived with a roommate. I might not like living with a roommate. I don't think I would like living with a roommate now that I really think about it. So those kind of seem like your two avenues for a choice. So let me know what you decide to do. And now, speaking of love bombing, I need to talk about Love Island for a little bit here. I need to know everyone's thoughts about this season. Starting off hot, we had Huda and Jeremiah. Now, I watched some recaps. I've watched the whole season. I actually was like right on top of it this year. I watched every night. It totally fucked up my sleep. Like, typically we'll put Anderson to bed and then, like, I don't know, clean up the kitchen, and then I'm in bed. Like, we're falling asleep before 9. And then watching this, I would stay up every night, and it started at 9. I'd be in bed at I'd go to sleep like 10:30, 11, and then Anderson is an early riser no matter what. So I was down. I was down bad. But in the beginning, I had such like mixed feelings about Huda and Jeremiah. Like, there were some moments where I'm like, why is everyone shitting on them? Like, just let them live. But then as it went on, I'm like, oh, no, I do see toxic behavior here. But I think a lot of people are just putting the toxicity on Huda when there was some Jeremiah moments with some love bombing where he was like, you kissed her in the blindfold challenge. I don't believe you. And she didn't. And he like didn't believe her. I think there was some heavy toxicity on each side. Then we get to the part where Huda meets Chris, and for a minute I'm like, this is it. This is the redemption arc. We have the stand on business challenge, and the stand on business challenge, that was by far the episode that had my jaw on the floor. Oh my God, I feel so dumb. So I keep hearing, I don't know if the mic will pick it up. It is an absolute downpour thunderstorm outside. And I keep hearing, because these are like muffled, I keep hearing in the distance like, and I'm like, is there a ghost breathing into the microphone? Because that is what it sounds like. It is I look out the basement window, it's pouring rain. It is a downpour. And I knew we had like a thunderstorm warning this afternoon. Oh my God. That was very scary. I did not like that. It's fine. Now I know. Now I know what's going on. There's not a ghost breathing into this microphone. Or maybe there is and we'll never know. But anyway, Huda and Jeremiah, they end. Listen, I'm going to stand on business 10 toes down when I say, when they sent Jeremiah home, I was livid. I was upset. He's finally listening to you guys. Everyone, Ace, like, you need to explore other connections. Listen, it's Love Island. It's not Friendship Island. And that's what I've seen a lot of people say, and I completely concur. It's not your job to decide if Huda and Jeremiah are toxic or not. They are grown adults, and you don't need to tell them what to do. And if they were going to make it or not, I feel listen, the conspiracy theory goes that Ace liked Huda and was jealous. That's the conspiracy theory, and I can see it just a little bit. But I do love him and Shelly together. I love Shelly's so beautiful, so beautiful. Literally, when I first saw her, I'm like, she might be one of the prettiest girls I've ever seen in my life. I do like them together, though. Alas, I digress. I've got so many thoughts here. So when they sent Jeremiah home, I'm like, listen, he finally got out of this toxic relationship, if that's what we're going to call it. He's exploring Andrina. I love the way they say that. And now you're going to send him home. Oh, because they don't like how he's moving. He's getting too in it too quick. Well, welcome. I saw other couples do that and you didn't have a problem with it. So I just don't understand what the beef was from the beginning. There was some sort of beef. Things we probably don't know, things we didn't see. Maybe Ace secretly liked Huda. Maybe the toxicity was just so bad they felt like they had to intervene, which is completely understandable. Whatever. They send Jeremiah home. That was a bummer. Because who was there? Pepe and Austin? Listen, Pepe is a sweet little angel. We love Pepe. Pepe is a doll. Austin, what the hell? What the helly? What the helliante? Like, he should have been skedaddled. He wasn't, he was fun and funny in the beginning. But like, I didn't feel like he was really exploring. Like, he was kind of just like the cool uncle hanging out. I don't know why I said cool uncle, but that's just how it felt. I don't know. So then I think the one that upset me even more going home was Hannah. They sent home Hannah. You know how close they were? Hannah Banana? First of all, I felt so sad for her when Charlie went home, but that feeling didn't last very long because then soon she was all up in it with Pepe, having a grand old time. Did you guys see that Instagram clip going around? Where she did that, like, ooh, oop, 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 Love Island, go crazy. And so her and Pepe were vibing, but I was just shocked when they sent home Hannah. And to this day, I was kind of just like waiting throughout the rest of the season for someone to explain and give some good reason, even if good in their head, why did we send home Hannah? And I feel like there was never a good, real answer. Like they said, I think they said she already got like a lot of the experience and the other girls deserved to get things out of the experience. Excuse me? Like she was happy. Like, why? I think, I don't know, there felt like a lot of game playing this season. Like, it just felt, and a lot of people said that, and I'm glad we could all feel that. It felt not manipulated, but it felt like people were playing a game versus just looking for love. That's how last season felt, in my opinion. And that was the first season that I watched of Love Island USA. And I started watching Beyond the Villa. I should call this podcast ADHD because I'm gonna just bounce around. I don't have an official ADHD diagnosis, but my therapist, in the past anyway, agreed that it seemed that way. I think we all have a little bit, but anyway, staying focused here. Oh wow, and there goes the train of thought. She's left the station. She's gone. Oh, shit. What were we talking about? I blame mom brain, but I'm kind of just always like this. Started with pregnancy brain, then mom brain. We were talking about Huda and Jeremiah. Then we were talking about... Oh, God. The girls know. Jeremiah knows. I have a daughter. I'm a mommy. Mommy? I'm a mom. Mamacita. That's all that lives in my brain. Oh, damn. We're talking about Hannah. They sent home Hannah. I don't remember. We were talking about Hannah. I just feel like we never got a real answer as to what was the reason. What was the reason we sent home Hannah? Oh, she was exploring. The other girls need to explore. Listen, whatever. Anyway. And then we had the Stand on Business Challenge. That, as hard as it was, is where I feel like we all just got to be fully immersed in the love of Amaya Papaya. And that challenge I feel like that brought Brian and Amaya together. And I am so glad they won. I am obsessed with them. From the moment he stood up for her at the Stand on Business Challenge and was like, that's how a lot of Latino women speak. And Yar was there with me. He's like, yep. They say amor, babe. Like, it's normal because Yar is Latino. And it's part of the lingo. And like, oh, God, I see the clip all the time when Ace and Amaya were together. I'm like, why did you even pick her? You, like, hate her. Ugh, hold on. I just got a notification for something. So, I don't know. The whole thing was just very bizarre. And the Stand on Business, that was hard to watch also with our beloved... with our beloved Huda. I feel like Huda's a very polarizing person. Some people love her. Some people hate her. I have mixed feelings. I actually don't feel like I'm popping up on either side. I watched the Call Her Daddy interview, and she's had a really hard life, and I think a lot of that just translates into, how her behavior was on the show, and I think she has a good heart, but it just can get a little lost in translation when she's feeling a lot of things, and that's how a lot of people are. And it was hard to watch her, get all those horrible letters on the Stand on Business Challenge. And I'm glad that her and Chris were good at that time because, like, for a second, like, I liked that he was standing up for her. I liked them together until all of a sudden it got, like, just a little bit too intense. The baby challenge, she was a little intense, but I get it. She's a mom, and that makes a difference. She's taking it seriously. I don't know. But then he kept telling her to shut up. I feel like, but then why was she okay with being intimate in the bedroom but not kissing in public? The whole thing, I don't know. It just wasn't a match. But from the moment they broke up and that singer walked out, the producers were like, go on, get out there. Jesus. The singer comes out, she's singing. They're just sitting there. And then they finally go to leave and she's like, will you carry me across? And he's like, I'm not going to carry you. Oh my God, what a season. What a season. I don't know. I have multiple memories ingrained in my mind from this season that I think will stick with me forever. Eat that kitty, eat that kitty, eat that kitty in the hideaway. There's that thunder. I wonder if you guys can hear it. Anyway, now I'm anxious because of this thunderstorm. I had forgotten that this was going to happen. I have anxiety. My biggest fear as a child was tornadoes because I watched Twister at my grandma's house on a sick day, and it stuck with me forever. I remember as a child, I'd see the sky get like a slight greenish, cloudy color, and I'd run home in fear. I hate it. Thunderstorms give me mild anxiety, mostly because as a child, oh, my dog is scared. I have to go. That's why you're by my feet. Oh, honey bunny. My dog does not like thunderstorms. That's why you're under the table, and I didn't hear it. I'm so sorry. All right, I'm going to go be with my dog. Shout out to all the dogs who don't like thunderstorms, but I hope you enjoyed this first episode. If you want it to continue, you got to let me know in the comments. Leave a thumbs up, because if y'all don't like it, I ain't gonna do it. But I do love a yap session. I really do. All right, you guys. It's been so real. I will go ahead and catch you in the next episode. We can be fearless together. Send your beautiful voice notes and voices over to the Just Between Us show. It'll be in the description. Just Between Us show at yahoo.com. Wanna do